Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll take a closer look at Manchester United's match against Burnley, and especially how Rúben Amorim's tactical ideas influenced the game. United were clearly the more active side, creating chances worth over 3.6 expected goals. The attack momentum chart illustrates this perfectly. The green bars show how much of the game United spent on the front foot, forcing Burnley back into their own half. Still, the purple spikes highlight moments where Burnley managed to push up and disrupt United's rhythm. And now, let's break it down further and take a closer look at Manchester United's tactics in this match. Manchester United looked to build from a goal kick. Inside the box, Shaw and Yaro position themselves to receive, with Shaw playing the ball back to Mbeumo in goal. The goalkeeper scans the pitch and looks toward De Ligt, which makes a clever run into the free space behind Burnley's pressing forwards and receives the pass. De Ligt quickly plays the ball forward with his first touch, finding Yaro in space with time to control. From here, Yaro can either play short into Diallo or go long, but Casemiro's poor positioning limits his options. With no central support available, Yaro is forced to play a long ball, and United lose the chance to progress more securely through midfield. This build-up from Manchester United starts much worse than the first one we saw. From a goal kick, Shaw plays the ball back to Mbeumo, who takes control and scans the space ahead of him. Casemiro drops to receive, but his movement is slow and wide, when instead he should be dropping deeper toward his own goal with more intensity. Mbeumo plays the pass into him, but the option isn't ideal. Meanwhile, Yaro positions himself far too deep. He should be higher up the pitch, ready to take the ball in space with time to turn. Instead, Casemiro passes to Yaro, who receives in a poor position, close to the touchline and under immediate pressure. With no better options available, he is forced to play long just to escape danger. The attempt fails, the ball goes straight out of play, and Burnley are gifted a throw-in. Now let's take a look at two pressing situations from Manchester United. The pressing here feels heavy and slow, which is something we can already see in this first example. It shows some good intentions, but the execution is not sharp enough. The press begins around the halfway line with Mount, Mbeumo, and Xerxes stepping forward together. From the left, Shaw pushes up aggressively, forcing the Burnley player to play backwards. Each of the front three applies man-oriented pressure, tracking their direct opponents and trying to squeeze the game higher up the field. When the ball reaches goalkeeper Dubravka, Mbeumo presses him from the left side, closing off the passing lane into Ekdal. At the same time, he checks Mount's positioning, but Mount is too far away from Esteve. Dubravka plays the pass to Esteve, and because Mount arrives late, Esteve has enough time to control the ball and scan the pitch before making his next move. United do eventually force Burnley into playing a long ball, but the pressing sequence is far from perfect. The slowness and hesitation in their movements make it clear that against a technically stronger side, this press would almost certainly be broken, leaving United exposed. In this pressing situation, Burnley attempt to build from the back as Ekdal receives from Walker, but Xerxes immediately applies pressure. Casemiro is too far from Mbeumo and reacts slowly, exposing a lack of mobility in United's midfield. Ekdal plays back to Dubravka, with Xerxes angling his run to block the return pass. If Dubravka had played through Mbeumo, and he quickly switched it back to Ekdal, Burnley could have broken the press. Instead, he goes to Esteve, but Mbeumo closes him fast, forcing a long ball and wasting the chance to use the free Hartman. This sequence shows that while United's pressing shape was better, the lack of intensity and dynamism still stopped them from fully controlling the situation. Now let's look at a situation where Manchester United were exposed through the middle of the pitch. In this sequence, United are set in their defensive block as Burnley control possession. With Shaw caught out of position tracking a runner, Casemiro drops between the centre-backs to cover. As United begin to push their lines higher, Casemiro steps toward Mbeumo, but he does so slowly, once again exposing his lack of mobility. When Burnley's defender plays into Mbeumo, Casemiro is still distant, giving him time to control, turn, and drive forward. By spinning between Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, Mbeumo suddenly finds a huge pocket of space. Fernandes, instead of reacting, virtually stops playing. His recovery run is poor and offers no help closing the danger. United's defensive line reacts well, with Yaro, De Ligt, and Shaw tightening together, and Diallo also tucking inside. But the combined lack of urgency from Casemiro and Fernandes allows Burnley to progress too easily through midfield. One of Manchester United's recurring patterns is their use of direct vertical passes into Mbeumo, often played first time after regaining possession. Mbeumo, who is always trying to find free space, uses his pace to provide a constant outlet, and United's players are quick to scan the pitch and look for him immediately. The problem, however, is that he is frequently isolated when receiving these passes. With little support arriving from the second line, Mbeumo is often left to battle defenders on his own, and promising transitions lose momentum. In this sequence, Manchester United are in possession while Burnley sit deep in their own half. Yoro starts with the ball, scanning for options, but the movement around him is static and the passing lanes are limited. Diallo makes himself available on the right, yet Yoro chooses not to use him. Instead, Casemiro signals to recycle possession through De Ligt, but he stays passive himself, waiting rather than creating space. This lack of urgency in midfield makes it much easier for Burnley to keep their defensive block compact. Yoro plays back to De Ligt, who switches across to Shaw on the left side. Shaw receives with plenty of time and space to advance. Fernandes shifts wider but stops short of going all the way to the touchline, which would have created more room and stretched Burnley's shape. With few options in front of him, Shaw decides to carry the ball forward on his own. Burnley react quickly, closing the gaps and pressing aggressively. United's lack of movement makes it easy for them to swarm Shaw, win the ball back, and release Foster, who suddenly has acres of space to launch a counterattack. This moment clearly shows how poor United's off-ball movement and positioning were, leaving their build-up predictable and easy to defend. That wraps up our analysis of Manchester United's performance against Burnley. We've seen both the strengths and weaknesses in their game, from their pressing to their build-up play. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you saw United's performance and what you expect from them in the coming matches.